Good evening, good evening, bonsoir, buenas noches, buenas noches to investors in North and South America. 我係個正Mr. 안녕하세요, 各位早，各位早晨。Good morning to investors in Asia. Buenas noches, buenas noches, good night, spokojной chai. Good night to investors in Europe and Africa. I'm Daniel speaking from Hong Kong. It's 18th September here and 17th September in Wall Street. This week, I have three main points to talk about. Number one, Apple and the future market. Number two, CPI and PPI and interest rate. Number three, RRP Fund Flow shows capital enter into market. And finally, a review of stock recommendations. Subscribe, like and share. Remember to click the bell please. Watch our playlist again so as to grasp the continuous trend of the market and refresh your mind. Every year, the Apple iPhone will add on a lot of functions so as to trigger ideas of changing a new iPhone. For the selling price of iPhone 15 Pro and Max, in the States they kept unchanged, but in China, India and Japan adjusted upward. In the UK, it is adjusted downward. Normally, the selling date is 3 days after the introduction date. When the sales are not as much as expected, the price of the stocks will drop. When the sales are ideal, people will sell on good news. Every year is like that. When we look at the 30-day heat map chart, we can see 6 of the Magnificent 7 are in light green. Only Apple is in dark green. But in the 7-day chart, only 4 are in green and 3 are in red, including Apple. In September 2022, the whole September dropped from the beginning till the end. In 2021 and 2020, they both dropped for first 3 weeks. In 2019, it rose slightly from the beginning to the end of September. For further details, please refer to video 48 at 2023-0199. Anyway, I have been warning since mid-August this year not to chase high. Now the price of Apple goes back to mid-August. In the daily chart, it can be seen it has rising from January to August this year. Mind that the recent 2 jumping gaps, it has refilled only 3 quarters, showing the adjusting power is greater than buying power. This denotes the downward wave of ABC is still carrying on. So whether the extension will break the low of mid-August, it depends on the next 2 weeks. However, Apple is expected to have a rise in October, which means the chance of forming a double bottom is quite high, and the gap in September will be refilled soon. This means in the Dow Jones, the right shoulder of potential head and shoulders is likely to develop into a new rising trend in this small wave. While in the large yearly wave, it is still in rising channel in the 6-month chart, and even in the 12-month chart, it is in a horizontal platform. For S&P, it is in a potential standard head and shoulder, but the right shoulder will not go down and turn up to develop wave 3 of a new rising wave. Nasdaq is more complicated. The original standard potential head and shoulder has a forced penetration downward. The right shoulder did once stop, but now goes horizontally. This denotes there's a fierce battle between buyers and sellers, as I have said in video 39, 2023-0710. It is the weakest among the 3 major indices. Of course, the labor problem of vehicles and demonstrations is a big problem. We have to watch it carefully, but don't worry, watch part 3 of this video for conclusion. For the CPI and PPI announced, we also have to watch it like this. Since the rate hike cycle of March 2022, the height reached 9.1% in June 2022, but the low was in June 2023 at 3.0%, and July is 3.2%, and August is 3.7%. It has gone up for 7 basis points, and the expectation was just 3.4 to 3.6%. While for the PPI, it is the same. The low is in June this year, which is 0.1%, July is 0.8%, and August is 1.6%. In this cost-plus inflation, it has bad news together with CPI. Also, the labor problem in vehicles means the enterprises are earning more and the spending power of workers are less because of inflation. But under such bad news, the interest rate of the coming FOMC meeting will be kept unchanged in September 20. The chance is as high as 98%, but the rate cut will be postponed to June 2024. That means January, the market is looking meticulously optimistic. Rainy days will pass June and sunny days are coming. When you want to understand more on chart analysis and fundamental analysis, Please watch a series of 14 teaching videos. They are specially designed for self-studying, so they are equipped with certain tests and philosophical questions to think about as homework. My purpose is to let investors believe on their own experience and knowledge rather than just listening to this and that person. For details, please contact Professor Vitali. Any sponsor to our seminars, daily report and videos are appreciated with great thanks. So now we can refer to our RRP Fund Flow chart, where recently I seldom talk about. This is the long-term chart where in December 29, 2022 is the tightest at 2,553 billion. This amount of money is gradually released into market. Please compare it with the rising trend of Nasdaq and Apple. Both of them rose together with effect from end of December sharply. When we enlarge it, we can see it goes horizontally from January to June of 2023 and had a breakthrough in mid-June at 1992 billion. It is the lowest CPI at 3.0%. Investors know that there would be fluctuations, so even if the CPI rose from 3.0% to 3.7%, PPI rose from 0.1% to 1.6%, fund flow keeps going into the market. On September 14, only $1,401 left in the reserve. When capital is flowing into the market, in the long run it will rise. No matter can rise without funds flowing in. When readers want to know more concerning the RRP Fund Flow, please refer to video 12 at 2023-0102. You can see the relation between Apple and Nasdaq by the beginning of this year and compare it to now. At the time, I already said it was bear market stage 3, which is the last stage, and on January 20th, 2023, where Jupiter meets Saturn is the end of pandemic and China really cuts all pandemic measurements and resumes normal. So now let's have a review of the stocks recommended to buy at low last week. Since we are still in low, now DIS has 6 consecutive rise candlesticks, even though they are all small rise, but it rose from the bottom since the recommendation of last week and are quite promising and still can buy in now. Mind that in MACD, both forward SPA and %K%D show buying signals this week. Apple has said would go down after product introduction, and even after actual selling still goes down, but just a little. So the support is at $172 and can start gradual buying now. TSM is roughly in the same position of Apple in double bottom, as the iPhone 15 is using 3nm chips, while the Huawei uses second class or third class 7nm chip. Manufacturing is moving out of China for a lower cost. Less intellectual properties transfer to a single country too much. NOC again show 5 consecutive rise candlesticks. For Kim of North Korea pays a visit to Russia and is going to supply more weapons. Therefore, the demand of NOC is much more keen than before, as their radar, eye of the battlefield, overran every radar in Russia and China, and is the essence of air supremacy. ASML falls to the low of March and is struggling up and down the 250 SMA. Better buy when under it for a cheaper price. Mind the sanction of China will be tighter because of Huawei Mate 60 Pro. ASML have the right to raise their selling price. GM already said they must watch the labor negotiation, but it still went up under the crisis after recommendation of last week. It's a miracle after all. Mind that a double bottom is formed and is going to have a breakthrough. When the compromise is made, it will be joyful news to the vehicle stocks and the whole market. So keep a close eye on it. Tesla is a phonus that never dies. It had a drunken gap up in the past 5 days. Besides a vehicle stock, it is also an environmental stock, also a dojo stock of supercomputers, also a stock of chips or AI, so it has many reasons to rise. Summing up, the market is falling and the next 2 weeks may drop further, but in October there would not be any crash as in 1929, 1987 and 1997. A small spring will come before the November 1st, the FOMC meeting. Let's get ready for this spring in autumn time. And don't forget what I said on October the 8th, which is the closure in Stonehenge of the UK. Please pay a visit to the Stonehenge if you want to understand more, but you cannot enter the circle unless you are a member of the Royal Society of Astronomy. So subscribe, like and share. Sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, bye bye, see you next week.